Nilesh bhai, throwing the same question to you. See, we were very lucky. We were a lucky generation. My wife and I started working in the 90s. A 1979 BSE Sensex of 100 was 10,000 in 2006. So we were, just by riding the conveyor belt, we made 100x, and most of us made 1000x. I remember when I started working, my annual salary was 55,000 a year in Citibank, and that was the top #1 company. And all of us saw 1,000 times, 5,000 times income's growth. Will the people, the youngsters sitting here today, that Sensex which went from 100 to 10,000 and today we are nearing to 70,000, today, tomorrow we should cross that. How do you see that? Will people see that 100 times growth in the next 26 years, which is the median age for a company?
But before he does that, just a small point. Because you were at Citibank, you drew 55,000. I started with Asian Paints, and I started at 37,000. Proudly, I joined Asian Paints, and I'm delighted that I started there. But just to put the number in comparison.
Just as a coincidence, I had an Asian Paints offer also. Those days my stars were very good. I remember Levers was 50, Asian Paints was 37, ITC was about 34 with housing, but you had to work in Bhatinda selling rice for 5 years, which I didn't want to do. I thought I'll be in Bombay doing high-class banking, but I went to Chennai and did operations for most of my life.
And interestingly, I had a Citibank offer and Hindustan Lever offer as well. But I started with Asian Paints, and proudly so.
Well done, Bharat bhai. Nilesh bhai.
So to the youngsters, I was rejected by Citibank despite being gold medalist chartered accountant. And for 30 years, Citibank's market cap has remained where it is because they rejected talent like me.
Well done, well done. And see, we had the Access guy here, Nilesh bhai. He was saying that he got it very cheap, a 100-year franchise. So totally endorse your assessment.
So we were lucky in percentage terms. They'll be lucky in size terms. हम लोग तालाब में स्विम किए, ये लोग समंदर में स्विम करेंगे. Today market cap is $4 trillion. Our wealth is component of that. By end of our Amrit Kal, will we have market cap of 35, 40, 45 trillion? It's possible. So हम लोग तालाब में स्विम कर रहे हैं, ये लोग समंदर में तैरेंगे. अब समंदर है, तैरना पड़ेगा. एफर्ट नहीं मारेंगे तो डूब जाएंगे.
And so, which sectors will take this talab into the samundar of 40 trillion?
So one way to look at is that India is a rising tide and every boat will get lifted. Only don't sit in that boat which has a hole in it, which is misgovernance. So be with quality promoters. आजकल गधे और घोड़े दोनों मार्केट में चल रहे हैं, बट गधे लंबा नहीं चलते हैं, घोड़े लंबी रेस के होते हैं. तो by good quality companies run by good managers available at good prices. बोलना एकदम आसान है, करने में जान निकल जाएगी, but making money was never easy. Buy good quality companies and you will make money. I mean, you have to back right promoter.
No, just to add to that, I completely endorse what Nilesh says. You buy a business, you don't buy markets, you don't buy indices, you don't buy a theme, you don't buy a dream, you don't buy a trend, you don't buy a fashion, you don't buy geopolitics, you don't buy macroeconomics, you buy a business which is a right character to create long-term value. It must be backed by a management which has character and competence to seize that value and take it ahead. It must have large enough size of opportunity. Like Nilesh was saying, तालाब बड़ा होना चाहिए. मछली बड़ी है कि नहीं, but तालाब बड़ा होना चाहिए. Size of opportunity is to be large so that the business can grow and meaningfully and for a long period of time. Without growth, no value is created anywhere. Even in nature, nothing remains static. If it remains static, it actually regresses. And therefore, growth is an essential elixir of life, of investing, of the business value creation. But that is not enough till it is backed by superior quality of growth. The character, the capital efficiency, the predictability, the reduced uncertainty, the moats, ability to withstand the challenges of the environment and still not only survive but flower. And finally, all of that, using the art and science of investing, you convert into an opinion of value, and with discipline you buy at a margin of safety. But that said, while investing always remains that micro exercise of bottom-up stock picking, but the macro context is not unimportant. Macro context is a background. It's like North Star, which tells you that long-term journey is likely to be this, and therefore it keeps you on the path. The intellect throws the light, but the wisdom lets you stay on the path. And I think we are into that phase where that long-term light and long-term view is very, very clear, where it can expand multifold, well beyond any limited imagination, because compounding is not easily appreciated by most people, because human race thinks in arithmetic terms, but it is geometric idea of compounding which is at the root of what is going to happen.
But here on compounding, I would like you to also give us your baby boomers and India analogy, what you were telling me the other day, that the 1950s.
No, of course, I think what he's asking me is about, we were discussing about Buffett with the recent passing away of Munger, and how Buffett has been a great outcome of American capitalist society. Buffett's career started in the baby boomer era of the 1950s, post-World War II, and he happened to be at a fantastic point of time in exactly the stage where American dominance was beginning to rise in a huge way, and for multi-decades. And in that phenomenal period, Buffett had an opportunity to build his investment empire that he has built. It is some 65, 70 years over which this powerful thing has been built. And therefore, today Buffett is 100 billion and whatever. But in this country also, at some stage in future, not too far away, there will be investors with 30 and 50 and 70 and 80 billion dollars of the wealth will be created. I hope some of us had a chance to do that compounding for 30, 40 years. That looks unlikely if I look at myself, that I'll have 40 years to live. But if you have these 40 years ahead for you, then I think we will have those investors who will have 40 and 50 and 70 and $100 billion of wealth. And that is not something, a dream or just an aspiration. It's a solid logic of mathematics, economic compounding, and a country which is on move.
Thank you.